Rosita Oliveira in Progreso Village, Corozal. And there are concerns over recommendations made by the Elections and Boundaries Commission on the redistricting. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Tuesday, July 11th, 2023.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have them on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3.
They're on fire! Chiladas!
Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat.
They're on fire! Chiladas!
From Snackers, done right, done here.
This road, known to many as just simply the Coastal Road, is legally and officially named the Coastal Plain Highway. The Coastal Plain Highway has now been transformed from a dusty and bumpy road during the dry season, a wet, mucky, impassable road during the wet season, to a now climate-resilient, fully paved, scenic highway.
The Six Road project stands as one of the most advanced among the 13 Capital Works projects funded under the UK SIF portfolio and is the first infrastructure works contract to be completed. This was within 6 months of the original schedule, and I wish to add, completed within budget.
The fact that residents in Gales Point, Mullins River, La Democracia, Hope Creek are no longer isolated when there's heavy rainfall, and that residents, including children and those most vulnerable, can access health, education, and social services despite adverse weather conditions. All this demonstrates the tangible, real life, and positive difference this climate resilient infrastructure is making in the lives of everyday Belizeans.
The Coastal Plains Highway is a special road in that it provides an alternative route linking northern and southern Belize. It gives the MIDH the unique opportunity to see in real time the expansion and unfolding of commerce, development, and tourism. Built with climate resiliency in mind, the Coastal Road strengthens our road network and proves Belize's courageous response to the global climate challenge.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move.
Since we took office, the Ministry of Infrastructure has been spending hundreds of thousands of dollars maintaining the shoulders of all the national highways. And while we are cleaning it to an acceptable standard so that it's safe if you have an accident or something, we have encountered that when we clean it, the garbage is at a level that's unacceptable. And we have people following vehicles that are basically taking everything in the car, putting it in a plastic bag and throwing it out. We should be ashamed as Belizeans that we are not protecting what is ours. And so that's a message that we continue to elaborate, and we are hoping that other ministries join us in the PR. We are hoping that all government employees, all citizens of Belize understand that if we do not protect what is ours, it will be destroyed.
Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. The cane price estimate for second payment for the 2023 crop was released yesterday by BSI ASR, and while it might come as good news for the company, for cane farmers it's not that all sweet. The second payment is to be made on July 19, 2023, and is based on a cane price estimate of $70.22, the second highest since 2000. But while the membership of the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association accepts it's a good price, it still does not meet their expectations.
Creo que sí ha sido ya un buen tiempo en que hemos conseguido un segundo pago de esa magnitud. Sí, en Camis es algo regular para el cañero, aunque algunos pues estaban diciendo que estaban esperando un poco más. El promedio que se está dando es alrededor de $22 el promedio, pero entonces varía basado en la calidad de caña en que terminaron los diferentes grupos. El más bajo es 17.96, si no estoy equivocado, y el más alto está en 23.24.
Based on a first cane payment of $43.63, the second payment will be an average of $20.10 compared to last year's average of $16.91, marking an increase of $3.19 per ton of cane. And while the company says the increase is due to its investments at Big Creek and expansion of DC sugar production combined with improved market prices, the chairman of the BSCFA's Committee of Management, Alfredo Ortega, begs to differ.
El año pasado, sabes que terminamos en 70 ya para el tercer pago. Terminamos en 70, si no estoy equivocado, creo que en 70.25, pero incluía un underpayment del año antepasado, más atrás. Entonces, nuestro pago final fue en 70. Ya este año, en el segundo pago, pues ya pegamos a los 70.22, como estamos ahorita. Así es de que esperamos ya para cuando llegue el tercer pago, ya esto ha incrementado un poco más.
La compañía está indicando que este incremento que se ha visto es debido a inversiones que ellos han tenido en Big Creek y la expansión de la producción de DC Sugars también. Claro, también combinado, dicen ellos, con precios que mejoraron en el mercado. ¿Hasta cierto punto está de acuerdo? ¿O cuál es la opinión de usted como cañero, miembro de BSCFA, chairman del comité de manejo? ¿Por qué es el que se vio este incremento ahora en el segundo pago?
Cami, en realidad, cuando vemos la situación y escuchamos en los precios que hay mundialmente, esto se consigue a través del precio que se está dando allá afuera ahorita en el mercado, en los diferentes mercados. Así es de que eso es uno de los factores principales de la cual incrementó el precio de caña en estos momentos. También puedo decir de que hubo ciertos problemas, ¿verdad? Durante de la zafra. Así es de que realmente cuando nosotros vemos y hacemos la matemática, es poco a nada lo que es basado en las inversiones de BSI que ha hecho. Más es por medio del precio que se está dando de afuera. Créeme que si el precio no hubiese subido mundialmente, estaríamos realmente bajos, pero como hay un buen precio allá afuera, pues automáticamente se ve en lo que estamos consiguiendo ahorita después de haber terminado la zafra.
At the end of it all, not all farmers will be lining up at the bank to collect their second payment.
Pues lastimosamente el precio se ve más regular este año, pero sin embargo la mayoría de cañeros no pudieron alcanzar a cumplir con su producción, ¿verdad? Hay muchos que estuvieron en un 60%, otros un 50% que pudieron entregar. Algunos lograron llenar el 100%, pero fue muy poco los cañeros que lo pudieron hacer. La mayoría no alcanzamos a entregar lo que es nuestra producción que teníamos en la lista. Así es de que eso llena un poquito de tristeza. Sin embargo, pues el precio ayuda y también pues se entristece, ¿verdad? Porque el cañero dice, conchas, yo hubiese logrado entregar en todo o la caña hubiese dado en lo que tenían ellos como production estimate, entonces iban a lograr pagar más rápido sus deudas en cualquiera de los bancos que deben. Sí, realmente quisiera pedirle a los cañeros de que pues sean vigilantes de sus cañales, especialmente en esta temporada que se nos está dando. Esta lluvia y sol que está pegando es apto para el desarrollo de la mosca pinta, y la mosca pinta realmente afecta bastante los cañales. Y pues hagamos lo que tenemos que hacer, y el cañero que pues no debe al banco, pues que invierta bien su dinero en su campo y con su familia, y que Dios bendiga a cada cañero.
It caused a major stir in the public domain earlier in May of this year, and on Monday, the Senate officially formed a Senate Special Select Committee to investigate the definitive agreement with Portico. This is only the third time in our country's history that such a committee is formed. The first being in 2005 to investigate investment irregularities at the Social Security Board, and then again in 2016 to investigate immigration irregularities. The motion was presented on Monday by NGO Senator Janelle Chinona and was passed through with unanimous support. The committee, as highlighted during its presentation, will investigate the agreement from its inception in 2020, when it was signed by former UDP Minister Erwin Contreras, to its most recent appearance in Cabinet in May 2023.
I rise to present a motion for the appointment of a special select committee to investigate all documents, communications, and processes tied to the signing of the document titled Definitive Agreement by and between the Government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited, DBA, the Port of Magical Belize, dated October 2020, and to investigate all documents, communications, and processes that resulted in the document titled Definitive Agreement by and between the Government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited, DBA, the Port of Magical Belize, dated October 2020, being presented to Cabinet accompanied by draft legislation and Cabinet White Paper in May 2023. Whereas paragraph D, section 61A2 of the Constitution of Belize provides that among the powers and functions of the Senate is the instituting and conducting of inquiries and investigations on any matter of public interest or importance, at paragraph G thereof, requiring the attendance before it of any chief executive officer in a government ministry in respect of any matter of which he has knowledge by virtue of his office or in respect of anything related to his office and the due execution of his duties, and at paragraph H thereof, requiring the attendance before any committee of the Senate of any minister of government. And whereas the public has become aware of a signed document titled Definitive Agreement by and between the Government of Belize and Portico Enterprises Limited, DBA, the Port of Magical Belize, dated October 2020, and given that the document has subsequently been presented to Cabinet along with draft legislation and a Cabinet White Paper in May 2023 on the recommendation of the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Tourism, and within the context of questions regarding the legality of the contents of that document. And whereas the government has committed to fight corruption and work to restore confidence in government, and tabled same in a good governance motion in January 2021 to signal, quote, serious about meaningful reward and open accountable governance to all Belizeans.
I just rise to second the motion, Madam President.
Madam President,
We're hoping that the process will be fair and just, and that we'll get to the bottom of this definitive agreement. Thank you very much.
I believe that surrounding this entire thing, and from what I have read and from what I have ascertained from the research I have done, that indeed there is something for us to investigate. I do not want to stand here this afternoon, this morning, thank you. I do not want to stand here this morning and take any sides, because that is not the intent. I do not want to stand here and throw stones and blame anybody, because that is not the intent. The intent is to be able to come to the truth.
Lead opposition Senator Michael Perryfeet also stood to support the formation of the Special Select Committee, adding that the opposition is very interested in learning the entire background of the definitive agreement, including the role of the Bressenden administration thus far.
We support the motion because we would like to know what happened that led to the signing of that document by the then minister and by the people who provoked him to sign that document, and what type of provocation took place to sign that document. Because, Madam President, it takes two to tango. So if we get into the details of the receiver, purportedly, then we get into the details of the giver and the gift. So, Madam President, let's have it. Let's have it. But not only that, Madam President. Let's have what the Prime Minister called a sham from the beginning in the House. Let him explain then how come environmental clearance was given for this in 2021 during your time, if it was a sham from the beginning. Ask why every UDP arrangement is attacked and lashed except for this one. This one had studies. The cabinet paper mentioned by Senator Chanuna said the man don't spend a company with 10,000 shares of 100 shares issued each to two people. How come they have already expended $23 million beliefs? On what? What's the basis for the government come up with 11.5 times 2, that 23? 23. How did they come up with that 23 million? How did the government accept that as money when well spent? Did the AG's ministry draft that piece of legislation that they wanted to pass in cabinet for this sham, for this ugly baby? Huh? Who led the charge to say we need to pass this? We have to pass this.
The committee will be formed by a total of 7 members, including 4 independent senators: Janelle Chanona, Kevin Herrera, Luke Martinez, Moses Benguche, 1 UDP senator, and 2 from the PUP. The political senators are yet to be named. As mentioned, with the formation of the Senate Select Committee now a done deal, the next step will be to commence the investigation, where a number of persons will be called to testify, including the Prime Minister. The first to be asked the tough questions into the Portico deal is expected to be former Minister of Economic Development Erwin Contreras, who signed the definitive agreement. Along with him, other members of the United Democratic Party are also expected to be called for interrogation, including sitting member of the House of Representatives Tracy Panton, who was the chairperson of the Cabinet Investment Committee during the last UDP administration. Today, the leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, was asked to weigh in on the fact that members of his party will have to answer for the definitive agreement.
I have absolutely no concern because the difference between the People's United Party and the United Democratic Party is we are comfortable with calling a spade a spade. And when one of our colleagues does wrong, we call it out, we denounce it publicly. And that is what you saw happen. Nobody tried to make any excuses for former Minister Contreras. I certainly didn't. The former Prime Minister didn't. The Attorney General did not. Again, what I believe is lost on the public and maybe some of you is Tracy Pantan is not just the chair or was not just the chair of the Cabinet Investment Subcommittee. She was the Minister of State in the Ministry of Economic Development. And she's telling you that she did not know. So I have no concern that this will paint my party as anything other than a party that holds its members accountable, a party that does not support corruption in any way and does not make excuses for corruption.
As mentioned, with Erwin Contreras signing the illegal definitive agreement 4 days before the 2020 general elections, it is expected that as the Senate Special Committee gears up for what will be a highly anticipated investigation into irregularities of the signed DA, he will be the first on the list to face the music. But the million-dollar question is, where is he? And if he's summoned to the stand, will he respond? After all, Contreras had not faced the media or the public since the DA scandal broke. Here is how Barrow responded to those questions.
I have not been in contact with the former minister. I have no intention of speaking to him about the Senate inquiry. That is a matter for the Senate inquiry to subpoena who it is they wish to appear before him. What you have to understand is Mr. Contreras was not an active member of the party. Before this happened, he had stood down, he had disappeared and only reappeared occasionally. But it is not as if he was still the deputy party leader or any official of the party. So at this point, I trust all that the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister Barrow has said, and the former minister in the Ministry of Economic Development has said, and the former Attorney General. So again, if Mr. Contreras wants to reach out to me, I think the onus is on him to prove his innocence and to contravene the mountain of evidence that appears against him. And as far as who we will select as the senator for the opposition in the inquiry, we have not made that decision yet. Nothing has come forward to indicate that any of the former ministers and the former prime minister that have all said they had zero knowledge of this matter, nothing has come forward to refute that or dispute that. And I am sure that if there was any evidence that they knew, that would have come forward.
And today, Barrow also told the media his party is planning to bring a lawsuit against Prime Minister John Briceño.
The Prime Minister is guilty for misconduct, for not taking action, to bring this matter to the public's attention and to say, no way. He is guilty of taking that paper, allowing that paper to be taken to cabinet, whether it's him as Minister of Finance or his Minister of State, and trying to pass that into legislation. That is conspiracy and collusion to conduct misconduct.
So when you
Opposition
say
leader,
you will use
Okay,
this
go ahead.
against the Prime Minister, are you saying the opposition will in fact be bringing a lawsuit against the Prime Minister in the manner in which Waterloo is bringing one, or Port of Belize is bringing one against the former minister?
Absolutely.
has that paperwork already started to bring it close to actual filing?
We are in the process. As these things continue to unfold, we are gathering the evidence and we are in the process.
This morning, a group of residents from the area of Ladyville staged a protest in front of the Prime Minister's office in Belmopan. Their issue is that of transportation after Serrano's bus service, who was one of the primary service providers in the area, was forced to cancel its services. Earlier this year, the Transport Board decided not to renew the bus line's permit and it gave way for Central Bus Service to acquire the route. But the new service provided does not traverse certain areas of Ladyville, and residents are forced to walk out to the highway to catch the bus. The handful of residents today made a call to the Minister of Transport as well as area representative for Belize Rural Central, Dolores Balderramos Garcia, and even Prime Minister to intervene on behalf of Serrano's bus service.
Because we want the Minister of Transport for here. We want the area rep, Ms. Dolores Balderramos, for here we and consider to give Mr. Serrano back a permit. Mr. Serrano has done nothing wrong. You could go back to Mr. Serrano, not only help with the bus service, you know. You know how $2 to pay a bus, Mr. Serrano to make you go on the bus. Mr. Serrano, not only that, Mr. Serrano clean the streets there in Ladyville, cut the streets, plus they fill up the roads there. Not only that, Mr. Serrano help. They say chairman of Ladyville. Help him when he made go for chairman for Ladyville, help him with money too. So I know why we not this is not political. We the out here for our Ladyville people, Japan, Milpa Vista Del Mar, and Pierce Road. We not the run we not got no politics in this. We want we Serrano back.
So how long have you guys been using, Serrano's bus service?
9 years. 9 years. Mr. Serrano used to drive for Chan, he used to drive for Batty, he used to drive for Novello. And he used to drive for Ali Oldman. The Lee Oldman done dead. Mr. Serrano said, I don't carry no way back a Milpa, but I want carry no because we know and I consider uno. I tell Mr. Serrano one day, I said, God want bless you with a bus, Mr. Serrano. And make sure you come right back a Milpa car on it. And the man sorry for we used to have to walk way from Milpa out by Puma gas station. This not right when they do to that man. It's not right. It's not right.
I have a special needs son. He goes to Stella Maris. Sundays I can't go on a bus to go with him, but I could tell the driver, drop us point A to me, point B to me for make their pick up, and then what do it? And then they do the service yards for me. So they are inconvenient me most of all.
Especially the ones who I guess live way back at Japan.
Yes, way back at Japan. We live far back at Japan. And so much thing that happen now, and the other bus then when they used to run, they only run as far as Boland Lane. And then you know how far we have to walk? That's not fair, man. This not fair. The government need to do something about this. Ms. Dolores need to do something about this. And the Minister of Transport. Because we're not done yet. We go at the Prime Minister house. If we have to go, we go in there. We do a peaceful thing right now. We had a protest at Ladyville, and that was peaceful. We not care if we fight nobody or nothing. We just want our voice be heard. We need back Mr. Serrano. We don't want to transport where the broke down. This morning, two transit bus broke down. Every time that they broke down, and sometimes the Serranos. Yes, and sometimes the Serranos, they're right there to pick up the people there. That just bad mind. You come from Ladyville. Mr. Bernardo, with a Ladyville, make we live in peace, man. You not eat up everything for yourself. So you need to share it.
When speaking to the media last week, Minister of Transport Rodwell Ferguson spoke on the matter, stating that the decision was taken by the Transport Board and not the ministry.
Everything people want to come and people want to agitate. But they do not understand and know the discrepancy that Serrano has over the years. I'm not the Transport Board, I'm only the Transport Minister. And the board decide who should get permit and who should not get. As a matter of fact, Mr. Shah, who is the president of the Bus Association, sits on the Transport Board on their behalf. And even Mr. Shah voted against Serrano for negligence of his operation.
Sir, there are some people who are saying that, the permit from Serrano was taken away for political reasons.
It might appear so to the general public, but the board know exactly the amount of complaints they have against Serrano. So when they came to me and said, Minister, we voted unanimously against Serrano, I said, well, that's your decision, not mine. So I did not interfere with their decision.
happens to the residents who live in Milpa and Japan? That Serrano's is their only bus that they could catch, or else they have to walk all the way out.
In every scenario, you have one way how you can fill the gap. So I can assure you, by the 14th of July, the gap will be filled.
Protesters today say that if their demands are not met, they are prepared to travel to Orange Walk to protest in front of the Prime Minister's house. Coming up next, Cabinet expresses concerns over recommendations made by the Elections and Boundaries Commission on redistricting. Stay tuned.
If you're lucky, no matter what life hands you, you can always count on your closest friends to be there. Oh, thank you. My purse was exhausted. We are all blissfully unaware when our lives are about to change.
Life is full of surprises.
I'm ready to lose my virginity. Excuse me?
I got the list.
What list?
There's a whole brouhaha at school about this MILF list.
For real?
Our lunchtime fodder is not usually this lowbrow, I swear.
Really? Who have you been eating with?
It's a big step up for Che and me.
I've been having exit out of grief sex. It's just sex.
The world has changed since you've been out there. Men have feelings too.
Life's too short not to try something new. And just like that, I realized some things are better left in the past. But maybe not everything.
If we can be more efficient, and when I mean efficient in time, efficient in quality, and efficient in budget, it helps you in other ways. It gives you the confidence from Cabinet that when future projects come along, they take you seriously. The lending institutions analyze that in a very positive way. The Belizean people benefit. So it's a plus in all directions, and that's our mandate. I was given this opportunity by the Prime Minister to serve as the Minister of Infrastructure, and I'm trying my best along with our team. We have awesome people working in the ministry to do just that, and we will continue to do so.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. So get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
Come on!
When hungry or craving, when laughter or tears, enjoy the best snacking or flavors are here. Asadas, bocadas, chiladas, doradas, Belizean for snacking, done right and done here.
Done right, done here.
The young people from this area will dream about the possibilities that sports and football especially can offer them. You know, when you see the stories of people changing their lives, not only their lives, but transforming their family lives through football, they could dream, and the dreams will start right here.
We have a young population. This government understands the importance of sports, understands the importance of the orange economy. So music, art, culture, all these things whereby young people can inject their energies into productive things.
Sports is one way where we can really, truly transform the lives of our young people. Not only that because they become good football players, but we learn about cooperation, we learn the discipline about exercising and sharing that ball. We learn about, and more than anything else, building friendships that last a lifetime. And that is what's so important about Berger Field. If we could build 2 more of these facilities here in the south side, it could really make a transformative difference in the lives of our neighborhoods.
It is no secret that the leader of the opposition is making noise on the Portico definitive agreement, which was signed by a member of his own party, was in government. While Shine Barrow accepts that disgraced ghost former Minister Erwin Contreras acted unlawfully, he is questioning why the Prime Minister John Briceño, on his opinion, discarded a $300,000 legal opinion from Ben Duratowicz and a $100,000 legal opinion from Douglas Mendes. While the PM is on record saying that the definitive agreement will not see daylight as is and continuously asking about it like, quote, beating a dead horse, today in a Zoom press interview, Barrow read ball the idea of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for a legal opinion that was not taken into consideration. He also seemingly tries to back up the highly scorned decision of Erwin Contreras to have signed the definitive agreement. However, he failed to produce evidence to shed light to his claim.
There are 2 legal opinions from Council Mendes and King's Council Duratowicz. As I said, the one from Duratowicz, I understand, is about $100,000 US. Duratowicz, who is our ICJ lawyer, and Mendes is about $50,000. So a total of $300,000 spent on legal opinions when I cannot comprehend or fathom why the Prime Minister and his government would want to go beyond Duratowicz, who is an esteemed, preeminent international lawyer that is defending our territorial integrity. So if we don't have confidence in him, if the government doesn't have confidence in him, then something is terribly wrong. But the opposition maintains that the intent of the Prime Minister was always to get the definitive agreement passed into law as was. So as much as they try to blame everything on Erwin Contreras and try to put all of the allegations at the feet of the UDP, it is very clear as things are unfolding, as I had said all along, that the Prime Minister and at least some of his ministers had a vested interest in Portico. So the social partners do not believe that we are flogging a dead horse. This is a live issue. We need to know why, according to the PUP, a corrupt UDP agreement was embraced and a conspiracy was afoot to pass that agreement into legislation. We need to unpack that issue because I have long screamed corruption. I have long said that they are vested interests. You are not talking about, again, the lawyers for Portico, one of which, Mr. Morales, who is the Prime Minister's first cousin and good cousin, great relationship, and all of the land purchases that was made by Portico to all of these people, some of them are PUP donors. So when I said months ago that they are vested interest, that they are people close to the Prime Minister, I knew what I was talking about.
But Barrow does not end his hammering there. Without evidence to cement his opinion, he claims that the former Attorney General left after refusal to participate in the process that involves the Portico definitive agreement. As per the Mendes legal opinion, Barrow says it serves to highlight that the PM was trying to push the entire process through.
The fact that there was all of this attempt and strenuous effort to find a lawyer. Remember, I had told you that the Attorney General refused to do it. She ended up resigning. Mendes did it. But if you look at the Mendes opinion, I say that the Mendes opinion, the opposition's position is that the Mendes opinion further indicts the Prime Minister and his Minister of State in his Ministry of Finance of, I believe, wrongdoing in public office.
PM confirmed to the media that the only way to move forward now is to ensure that investors have an enabling environment, which will be done by enacting a piece of legislation that will guarantee a safe facility in Belize City for the ships to dock safely and securely. Day one of a 3-day summer camp for 100 plus children in Corozal began today. It is being conducted at the Corozal Methodist Primary School, where children can convene in a safe place to learn and enjoy their time with seasoned and new educators. We spoke to Taya Garcia Ramirez, founder of Plan Corozal, who says the idea of the summer camp is aimed at providing educational environment for the young children, where instructors can guide them to develop crucial skills, forge new friendships, and enjoy the time together.
The summer camp is called Edu Boost. It is originally an idea from a teacher called Miss Kayla Palacio. She first introduced herself to me and talked about her plans on having a summer camp and how we would be able to support. So the original idea is from her, and I would want to give her all the credit and recognition for coming to us. I think over at Plan Corozal, we got involved in kind of supporting the idea, and then the idea started to grow, and it's encompassed a lot more than what was originally the scope of it. And so we have a number of teachers and even some student teachers that are volunteering their time, and they're going to do their internship, and so they wanted to try and get their feet wet a little bit, and not just go in at the beginning of classes. So we have some very experienced teachers, and we have some young people coming in also to help. And the idea is basically that the children that are most at a disadvantage, in the sense that don't have access to devices, to tablets, they don't have access maybe to internet, were the ones that really got left behind during the pandemic. There are some children who didn't even pick up their packages, and so it's trying to help them to catch up a bit, because, well, after all the classes have resumed, you notice a big gap in literacy and numeracy. And so the summer camp is 3 days. It's on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Today is going to be the first day. And it's basically to reinforce some of the ideas, to get them to read better, to the foundations, and just basically trying to get them to catch up a bit, like I said, so that when they go back in the new school year, they are in a better position.
There is room for more children to join the summer camp, where the activities will not only teach practical skills, but also instill a sense of responsibility towards the environment and the importance of sustainable practices.
We have enrolled about 100 primary school children from all over Corozal. And the invitation is still there. If people still want to join, they can just come in and we would still enroll the children, but almost 100 children is really fantastic. It's free of cost. All the materials will be given. We're just asking you to send a cup or a container for water or juice, because we also want to reinforce the fact that we don't want to keep using disposable cups and that sort of thing. And everybody have a water bottle at home or a little cup. Bring that, because we also want to teach the children good habits. Try to recycle, reuse, and not create more waste.
Again, the camp is built to offer a diverse range of activities tailored to foster personal growth and teamwork. Only weeks ahead of the deadline set by consent order of the High Court, the Elections and Boundaries Commission, EBC, informed the nation last week that the redivision exercise started last February is complete. The task force was assembled to consider the distribution of the population throughout Belize and make proposals for dividing Belize into electoral divisions in such a way that each electoral division shall have as nearly as may be an equal number of persons eligible to vote, with the total number of electoral divisions not being less than 28. As now required by Section 93 of the Belize Constitution, the redistricting proposals are to be laid before the National Assembly by the chairman of the Elections and Boundaries Commission. EBC Chairman Oscar Sabido Puga will hereafter present a copy of the report containing the proposals of the Commission to the National Assembly to be laid on the table of the House of Representatives. But even before the presentation is made at the National Assembly, a certain media house in Belize City has been airing portions of the report on redistricting. This prompted the Elections and Boundaries to issue a statement where it cautions the media and any other person or persons that, quote, publication and or dissemination of the report prior to the report being laid on the table of the House of Representatives is a violation of the privileges and standing order of the House of Representatives, unquote. Today, the leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, was asked to comment on the bold statement.
There is no way that any standing order for the House could bind any public member, any media member. I don't know who is advising the government, who is advising the chair of the Elections and Boundaries, but it's absolutely absurd that they would have put out that press release in an attempt, in my view, to silence the voice of the media and the public and suppress freedom of speech and freedom of the press. The fact of the matter is the Election and Boundaries is not a part of the legislature. The fact of the matter is the Constitution of Belize prohibits the commingling of the legislature and the Election and Boundaries. In subsection 58, section 62, any member of the House would have to vacate their seat if they are to be involved in anything having to do with elections. So the House of Representatives and Elections and Boundaries have zero to do with each other. As far as the standing orders pertaining to members of the House such as me, there is no standing order that prevents me from disclosing information to the public. There should not be a press release from Election and Boundaries forbidding the media and the opposition and any member of the public from discussing this matter. This is our democracy. We have a right to discuss this.
The government issued a release stating that the Elections and Boundaries Commission completed its work pursuant to Section 90 of the Constitution and has made proposals for redistricting after a review. Prime Minister Honorable John Brisenia received a copy of the said report this morning, and it was discussed in Cabinet, which expressed serious concerns about the recommendations made by the Commission. The report will now be tabled in the National Assembly for debate. On July 10, 2023, the Taiwan ambassador to Belize, Lili Wensu, participated in the opening ceremony of the Santa Marta Village Digital Connect Center and the Carmelita Village Digital Connect Center in Orange Walk. The initiative was completed along with Minister of Public Utilities, Energy, Logistics, and E-Governance, Michelle Shabat. Attendees also included Kevin Bernard, Area Representative of Orange Walk East, and Minister of Health and Wellness Mayor Ladrick Shepherd, and Robert Pan, Chief of Technical Mission of Taiwan CDF in Belize. The establishment of these Digital Connect Centers is aimed at tackling the digital divide challenge in Belize under the Digital Inclusion Program, which is jointly implemented by Taiwan ICDF and the Ministry of E-Governance. Belize was represented at the 88th session of the Marine Environment Protection Committee, MEPC, which was held in London last week. Member countries gathered for the session from July 3rd to the 7th and discussed critical issues such as amendments to the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships. According to the Belize Port Authority, discussions also centered around ballast water management and anti-fouling system conventions, and working towards the designation of particularly sensitive sea areas, PSSAs, and emission control areas, ECAs, under the MARPOL. Most notable, however, was the adoption of the 2023 IMO Greenhouse Gas GHG revised strategy, which aims to effectively decarbonize shipping in line with global goals, the BPA said. The delegation was headed by the Ambassador of Belize to the United Nations, His Excellency Carlos Fuller, and included Manager of the International Merchant Marine Registry of Belize, Eduardo Simon, Chairman of the Board of the Belize Port Authority, BPA, Major Retired Lloyd Jones, Ports Commission of the BPA, Ms. Darlene Gaitan, and Technical Officer of IM Barba, Anik Sabal. The Assemblies of God Primary School in Santa Rita, Corozal is getting major works done on its roof. 2 weeks ago, we told you about the big announcement made by Plan Corozal's Thea Garcia Ramirez at the graduation ceremony of the institution. Plan Corozal wants the students to be proud of being part of the Assemblies of God Primary and at the same have the opportunity of receiving an education in an adequate, comfortable, and safe environment. The good news is that since the announcement was made, Plan Corozal is wasting no time and has managed to get rid of old roof. We got an update with Ramirez earlier today.
The roof has been completely removed, the old roof, and we are having the new roof being placed as we speak. And we are hoping that we might be finished next week with the roof. So the beams are being replaced, the entire zinc is being replaced, and then on the inside we will have backing, and a new false ceiling will be placed. So at the end of it, what we hope is that everything is completely sealed so that you don't get any little critters or animals coming into the roof, inside. And we are also have some a great big partner as well in Mr. Alan Rancharan, and he has graciously agreed to do all the new wiring of that building, so that it will also have 2 new ceiling fans in every classroom, the new outlets and switches in every classroom, and new lighting. So that's where we are at in the main building, replacing the roof, and then I can send you some pictures if you like. But we're really happy and we're really proud. And that also has to be done in the summer, because we want, when the children come back to school, that their school is ready to receive them. And, I think a clean, organized, and healthier environment is just the thing to kick off new learning. I think children can learn better when everything is tidy and organized, sets the mood for learning, and says to them, okay, we're ready. And I think children want to be proud of their school.
Earlier this year, the school, which is located in Santa Rita, Corozal, received a brand new kitchen with new equipment courtesy of Plan Corozal and its partners. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, July 12th here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at CTV3NewsBZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.